Hi and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about auxiliary fuel tanks, extending the fuel range of your motorcycle. Alright, so you want to learn more about that? Stick around.
Dang, this looks like a cliff. I mean, this is a cliff. Alright, I can do it. Hang on, let me figure out which way we go. I think we stay, I don't know. Yeah, no big deal.
Okay, so installing a aftermarket auxiliary fuel tank on my BMW GSA. So the first thing, two major hurdles. Where and how are you going to mount it? What size tank are you going to use? So for the where and how I was going to mount it, I decided I wanted to remove the passenger pillion seat, install a plate there. There's several companies sell those, and that's where I was going to mount it. A lot of people do it that way. So I went to Black Dog Cycles to fix that problem. They have a nice plate, 195 bucks, something like that. I placed that order. Perfect. Next thing was a tank. I've seen a lot of people ordering tanks from a company called Sandstorm. I think it's spunaluminumgastanks.com. So they have these old pony keg style tanks, and that seemed to fit the bill, all American made. I didn't think there'd be any issues with in stock or nothing since they're American made. Cool. So placed the order for the Black Dog Cycle. It was on back order. I waited and dragged my feet a little bit on the tank. I'm not sure why, but I did. So when it came time to order, on a GSA, my fuel tank is 7.9. I called that 8. On the Iron Butt Association rules, I can be 11.5. So I chose to get a 3.25 gallon tank. It's 8 inches in diameter, 16 inches long. I thought I could make it fit in between my panniers because I wanted the panniers to open and close without being restricted. So ordered that. So the plate shows up, it goes on, very simple. Let me show you that. This is the Black Dog Cycle plate they got. That's the pillion rack, and it's basically, I'll remove the seat and it'll bolt right there, and then the tank will sit on it. So I'm gonna get this mounted up, and then we'll get the tank out and I'll show you how that's gonna sit. Alright, so in the kit you get some spacers and some bolts, and you remove these 4 bolts. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Spacers will go, plate them out. So that's pretty simple. So that mount's very simple. Now the tank. When the tank arrived, the first thing I noticed, I didn't get anything included as far as fuel fittings on the bottom. So I had to go back and order those. So I was delayed a little bit more. And I went in and I started reading. And it's sold as a 3.25 gallon tank. Let me show you a picture. Alright, again, it's 8 inches in diameter and 16 inches long. So the gentleman for the Iron Butt Association that inspects them was nice enough in one of the forums to put the mathematical equation to how he determines volume. And that equation, it's 4 times pi times something divided by something with something beyond something. Comes out that my tank was 3.48 gallons. After reading more, I saw that several people had said it held more. Some people said it held less. It just wasn't worth the issues that it could cause me at a tech inspection. So I took the tank to a local guy and I had it shortened by 1 inch and plugged those numbers into this guy's formula, and I fit the bill now. So made one little adjustment to the tank and back to work I go. The next thing was mounting the tank on the Black Dog Cycle plate. I was going to have to use some risers. The fittings are at the bottom, and I wanted to clear the handrails on the back of the GSA, and I'll show you those. So I needed to rise it up some. So I found some spacers, local hardware store. They're not the permanent ones I'm going to use, but I was trying to find the right height and whatever I needed, and I got those, and then I went to mount them. I did make one mistake. I wish I'd moved one tank strap over a little more, but I got the tank mounted, and it's solid. I don't think I'm going to have any issues with that, and it literally comes off. The tank will stay mounted. The tank will come off with 4 bolts. I will leave the tank mounted to the plate, and I'll just remove it. The fuel line running from the tank to the main OEM tank is very simple, so this will be a really simple install. So let me show you where we're at. All right, so the Black Dog cycle, again, it's going to mount in these 4 spots. I'm going to show you that. There's a tank mounted. When you look at the side, all right, so I put the tank straps in the back. I left a little bit of clearance here. As you can see, it doesn't restrict with the lid of my top box. So I moved it back as far as I felt I could. I've got a gap so I could lower it some if I need to. I can still handle it, grab a hold of my handrails here. I'm comfortable with that. And then I still have a gap between where I'm going to be sitting in here. So I was super comfortable with that. I do wish I'd have moved this strap over a little bit more so it looked a little more aesthetically appealing, but I'm okay with that. I will redo these spacers, get something a little more bigger in diameter just for the look. Again, the fittings, this fitting will be here shortly, and then a vent line. So I'm happy with the way it turned out. Again, this is the OEM weld. This is a weld from my guy. We just took an inch. He cut on both sides and took an inch out and re-welded it. So if you really look, you can see it's a little bit off-center, but I'm perfectly okay with that. All right, so I could have saved myself a little bit of trouble had I really read all the information on the forum. There are guys that use bulkheads. They screw fittings into their tank. I'm not doing that. Mine's gonna be very simplistic. I'll show you that in a minute, but I made mine simple and it should work just fine, and that gives me about 11.2 gallons. So extend my range depending on how fast I go, how heavy I am, headwinds, all those things, about 400 miles on a tank of fuel. So I think that's going to be pretty good for me. I'm happy with that. Trying to pick up where I left off about 10 days ago. When I ordered the tank, I did not order the fitting from the bottom, and I should have. I just assumed it came with something. It didn't. So I ordered that, and that literally got here a couple days ago, and I just got home from a 10-day trip anyway. So fitting came in, put the fitting in. That's a quick release. So I got my fuel line on and I ran it down, and I wanted to show you, I tucked it up under here, up underneath the fuel tank, and then fished it up through. This may or may not be a hanger from a pair of dress pants that I just took off and threw up in the closet. Anyway, so all I'm gonna have to do is pull this vent line off, and I'm just gonna tuck it in, leave it right there. I'm gonna cut this and put it right on that one, and that's all you have to do. I got a couple hose clamps. I'll put a hose clamp on it, but that's all I have to do. And I think this was actually 5 feet long, so I'll pull it and make sure it's good. I ran my vent line temporarily up the back. I'm not sure. A lot of guys run them around the bottom. I was told to run it high. So anyway, I'm gonna get this cut, put that on, and get it put back together. So it's, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night. I just got home. It's Wednesday night, and I need to leave tomorrow for Dallas for the tech inspection Friday morning. So I'm pushing it. All right, check back in a minute. So this is a quick release, so I can pop that off if something would happen. Simple enough. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but they said to run it high. So it's the highest point on the bike. It won't affect the opening and closing of the lid. At this point, I can remove this in about 20 minutes. These 4 bolts, pull this cover off, pull that hose out, pull it out, put the other vent line back on, and it's right back to stock. So I guess tomorrow I'll head north, get it inspected, and we'll see. All right, so I could have saved myself a little bit of trouble had I really read all the information on the forum. There are guys that use bulkheads, they screw fittings into their tank. I'm not doing that. Mine's gonna be very simplistic. I'll show you that in a minute, but I made mine simple and it should work just fine, and that gives me about 11.2 gallons. So extend my range depending on how fast I go, how heavy I am, headwinds, all those things, about 400 miles on a tank of fuel. So I think that's gonna be pretty good for me. I'm happy with that. So again, hope you got something out of the video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell so you'll be notified next time my video comes out. Thanks, have a great day, be safe.